All right, here's the last video, hopefully, that will help us finish out paper review for Unit 4 test. That will be the third test of the year. Let's start with problem number 20. So problem number 20, we should have given you some more information. We should have said what form. In this case, we want factored form. The test will be much more explicit. If we say standard form, then you have to multiply everything together. So we're going to define p of x, and we're going to use these zeros. So -3 would have a factor of x plus 3. -1 would have a factor of x plus 1. And 4 would have a factor of x minus 4. If they say let the leading coefficient be 1, you'd multiply it all together and you're done. But this one, we are actually going to find an a value. And what tells me that we are going to find an a value is that they gave me this point over here. They gave it to me in function notation. They can also give it to me on a graph. By the way, that's what they did in number 21. They gave it to you on a graph. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask you to plug in the x and the y. And oh, this isn't in factored form. They want it in standard form. I'm so sorry, I'm looking at the answer. They did not say in factored form. So let's just change that. Again, we should have been clear on the instructions. So I apologize. Let's do standard form. But we'll do that after. So right now, what I'm going to do is 12 is the y. That goes over here. And then x can be replaced with -2 because that's the value that they plugged in to get that 12. And here we go. That's a 1, that's a -1, and that's a -6. So when I simplify, what I'm getting is 6a. And then to solve for a, well, I'll just divide both sides by 6, and I'm going to get 2. Now, if they said factored form, I could just I could just write the a in front of these factors, and this would be my answer. And let's label that factored form. But I checked the answers real quick, and it looks like it's in standard form. So let's go ahead and multiply all that. It really doesn't matter what you multiply first. But personally, I'm going to multiply the last two terms together first. So why don't you pause and do that? Come back and check. All right, here's what I got when I multiplied x plus 1 times x minus 4. I want you to notice that I'm very deliberate. I put the answer right below the two factors that I combined. That's intentional. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply x plus 3 times all of this. Now, if you'd like, that 2 can be distributed at the very end. But you know what, so I'm just going to multiply these things together. Okay, and I think that's going to be pretty long. So let's have you pause. Really what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the x, and then I'm going to distribute the 3, and then I'll combine like terms. All right, I'm hoping I haven't made any errors. This is what I'm seeing. When I distributed the x to everything, I got x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x. And then when I distributed the 3 to everything, I got 3x squared minus 9x minus 12. And then my last answer would be, let's combine like terms. So this cancels with this. So I've got x cubed minus, that looks like 13x, -4, -9, and minus 12. And then we're going to distribute that too. And that, my friends, is the answer that matches in the back. And this is what we would call standard form. So let's go to problem number 21, which is going to be the same type of problem, except this time they gave it to you graphically rather than words. It's the same idea. Again, they gave you the point, and that's supposed to find a. So we know that P of X equals A. I know I'm going to find A because they gave me a point. And that's X plus 4, X minus 3, and X minus 6. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to pause the video. I want you to find A. Go ahead and do that. And then check to see once you're done. All right, when I plugged in 0, I got 4 times negative 3, that's negative 12. And then when I multiplied that by negative 6, I got positive 72. 36 is equal to 70, oops, I don't know why I wrote that, 72a, which means a is equal to 1/2. You could do, let me quit skipping steps here, sorry. It's 36 over 72. And you could divide these by 6. And then you can, I think, see that it's 1/2, or you could use your calculator. One more time, factored form would be P of X equals 1/2, and then your factors. That's factored form. But to get standard form, what we're going to do is we are going to multiply two factors together. So I'm going to leave the first two factors alone, and I'm going to multiply x squared minus 3, x minus 3 times x minus 6. Go ahead and pause and try that. For me, I think I get x squared minus 9x plus 18. Next, I'm going to leave that 1/2 for the very end. That's not the only way to do it, but I'm just going to distribute this x to all terms. And then I'm going to distribute the half. Why don't you pause and then come back and see how you did? All right, I've distributed the x and the 4. I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 9x squared and positive 4x squared, that's negative 5x squared. 18x minus 18x minus 36x, that's negative 18x. And then there's only one constant, 72. So now I just need to distribute the half. Just put the half in front of the x cubed. And then if you are unsure of how to multiply 1/2 times 5, you just multiply the tops and the bottoms. Half times 18 is 9, negative 9, and half times 32 is 36. And this would be standard form. All right, I think we're down to the last two problems. Very excited. So what I want to do is I want to first think about n behavior. So I know that n is equal to 3, and n behavior is low on the left and high on the right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, nope, we don't reflect it. So what I'm going to do, I don't see any other way to do this. I think we just have to guess and check. Let's guess a factor. So I'm going to try positive 1 and then negative 1. So why don't you try that and then come back? That worked. That worked. So I don't have to try negative 1. Now, you could keep guessing if you like. However, this can be factored to x minus 1, and this is x squared plus 6x plus 8. I'm going to move this up just a bit. There we go. And I mean, you could keep guessing, but this factors pretty easily. And we need the zeros. So I'm getting a 0 at 1. I'm getting a 0 at negative 2. I'm getting a 0 at negative 4. I know my end behavior. Do I know my y-intercept? I sure do. My y-intercept is negative 8. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Negative 8 would be like down here. So this is going to be 1. Combining this with my end behavior, low on the left, right? That's what we said. We said it was down on the left, and up on the right. So it's down on the left. We don't know how high it comes, and it really doesn't matter. This is just, try that again. We don't care how high it goes. There it goes. But we do know it goes all the way down to my y-intercept, which is at -8, and then comes back up. There we go. That's good enough for me. For problem number 23, n is equal to, and see if you can think about what the end behavior looks like. It's the same as the last one. N is 3 down on the left, high on the right. We don't reflect because we don't multiply by negative. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set this equal to 0. You could do synthetic division, but what I'm seeing is a GCF. And when I factor out 3x, I'm getting x squared minus 16. That can be factored. Hopefully we've done some factoring practice that has been helpful for you. So my zeros, I got 0, -4, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can make this 1. The y-intercept is 0, so we don't know. We don't care how high up or down it goes. So here we go. N is equal to 3. We know it's down on the left. And it goes down, and then it finishes high. All right. Bring any questions to class. I hope this was helpful.